Hi, I'm Martha. You know those people who always say family is everything with that perfect smile? Yeah, I used to believe that too. My friends at Westlake High thought my life was pretty normal. Decent grades, volleyball team, the usual teenage stuff. But normal ended 3 nights ago. Earth to Martha. You haven't touched your lunch, Rita said, sliding into the seat across from me at our usual cafeteria table. Her bracelets clinked against the table as she leaned forward. And those sunglasses inside? Either you're suddenly too cool for school or something's up. I adjusted the glasses, wincing as they pressed against my swollen cheek. Just a headache. Since when do headaches come with split lips? Rita whispered, her usual rapid-fire speech slowing down. I've known you since 3rd grade. Talk to me. It's nothing, I mumbled, pushing my untouched sandwich around. Martha. Rita reached across and gently touched my hand. You've been wearing long sleeves in 80-degree weather. You flinch when someone raises their voice. And now this? This isn't nothing. My throat tightened. The cafeteria suddenly felt too loud, too bright, too everything. Can we go somewhere else? I managed. 5 minutes later, we sat under the oak tree behind the music building, the spot where we always went to escape cafeteria chaos. I finally removed my sunglasses. Rita gasped. Oh my God, Martha, who did this to you? My dad, I whispered, the words feeling strange on my tongue. He broke into my room Monday night. I was up late studying for that chem test, and he just lost it. What do you mean broke in? Rita asked, her voice carefully controlled. I've been locking my door since he started getting worse. He used a screwdriver to force it open around midnight. The memory made me shudder. He was ranting about my grades, about how I'm throwing away my future. Then he just slapped me. Hard enough that I hit my desk corner. I gestured to the cut above my eye. I was bleeding, and he just left me there. All night? Rita's eyes widened. Did your mom help you? I laughed bitterly. Mom's been in Phoenix since Sunday. Business trip, perfect timing, right? You need to tell someone, Rita said firmly. Miss Torres in counseling, the police, someone. And say what? That my state prosecutor father hit me? Who's going to believe that? I believe you, Rita said, her voice cracking. And there's evidence right on your face, Martha. He's never gone this far before, I admitted. Usually it's just yelling, throwing things, punching walls. That's still abuse, Rita said, pulling out her phone. My cousin went through something similar last year. There are people who can help. He'd kill me if I told anyone. He already hurt you, Rita replied, her usual bubbly personality replaced with steel. And if we don't do something, he'll do it again. Worse next time. The bell rang, signaling the end of lunch period. I can't miss AP Bio, I said automatically. We have that lab today. Rita gripped my shoulders gently. Martha, listen to me. There are more important things than perfect attendance right now. Let me take you to Miss Torres, please. My phone buzzed with a text. Dad. Hope you're having a good day, kiddo. Remember, we have dinner with the Hansons tonight. Wear something nice. Like nothing had happened. Like my face wasn't throbbing. Okay, I finally said, looking back at Rita. Let's go see Miss Torres. Miss Torres's office always smelled like cinnamon and something earthy. Probably those weird meditation candles she kept on her bookshelf. Usually the scent made me feel calm. Today, nothing could stop my heart from racing. Martha, I'm so glad you came to see me, Miss Torres said, her voice deliberate and measured as always. She adjusted her colorful scarf and leaned forward. Rita mentioned you have something important to discuss? Rita squeezed my hand and nodded encouragingly. The words stuck in my throat. Something happened at home. Miss Torres waited patiently, her dark eyes kind but unwavering. I removed my sunglasses again. The fluorescent lights made my headache worse. Oh, Martha, Miss Torres said, her calm demeanor slipping for just a moment. Who did this to you? My father, I said, the second confession somehow harder than the first. He broke into my room Monday night and hit me. I hit the desk when I fell. He left me there bleeding until morning. Miss Torres nodded, taking notes. Has this happened before? Not like this. He yells a lot, throws things, but he never hit me before. That's still abuse, honey, Miss Torres said, echoing Rita's earlier words. Emotional and now physical. We need to report this. I'm a mandated reporter, which means... I know what it means, I interrupted. My dad's a prosecutor, remember? He handles domestic cases all the time. The irony wasn't lost on me. That complicates things, Miss Torres admitted, but doesn't change what we need to do. Would you be comfortable talking to Officer Chen? She's our school resource officer. My stomach twisted. Do we have to call the police? Yes, we do, Miss Torres said firmly. But Officer Chen is good at her job and she'll make sure you're safe. 20 minutes later, Officer Chen sat across from me in Miss Torres's office. She was younger than I expected, with short hair and a no-nonsense expression that softened when she saw my face. Martha, I'm Officer Chen, she said, her voice clipped but kind. Can you tell me what happened? I repeated my story for the third time that day. Do you have somewhere safe to stay tonight? Officer Chen asked when I finished. I hadn't thought about that, I admitted. You can stay with me, Rita jumped in. My parents won't mind. Actually, Miss Torres interjected, is there a family member you trust? An aunt or grandparent, perhaps? My Aunt Sarah, I said after a moment. My mom's sister. She lives about 30 minutes away. Perfect. Officer Chen nodded, making notes. We'll need to contact her, and we'll need to document your injuries and take your statement officially. What about my dad? I asked, my voice smaller than I intended. He'll know it was me who reported him. Your safety is our priority, Officer Chen said. There will be an investigation, and given the evidence, likely an emergency protective order. But he's a prosecutor, I protested. He knows all the judges, all the cops. Not all of us, Officer Chen said with a hint of steel in her voice. And none of that matters when there's a minor with visible injuries. The door opened and Vice Principal Hoffman stuck his head in. He took one look at my face and his expression darkened. Just checking if everything's all right in here, he said, his gaze lingering on my bruises. We're handling it, Mark, Miss Torres assured him. Well, he said, shifting uncomfortably, just to play devil's advocate here, are we sure this isn't some kind of misunderstanding? Robert Sullivan is a respected member of this community, and these are serious allegations. The room went silent. With all due respect, Mr. Hoffman, Rita snapped, does this look like a misunderstanding to you? I'm just saying, he backpedaled. These situations can be complicated. Teenagers sometimes... Mark, Miss Torres cut him off, her voice like ice. Unless you have something helpful to contribute, I suggest you let us handle this according to protocol. Officer Chen stood up. Mr. Hoffman, this is now a police matter. Martha has visible injuries consistent with her statement. We don't need your advocacy for her abuser. Mr. Hoffman retreated, muttering about proper channels and reputation concerns. And that, Rita muttered, is why victims don't come forward. Some people will always defend the wrong person, Officer Chen said. But that doesn't change what we're going to do. Martha, are you ready to make this official? I thought about my father's text message, about all the dinners with his colleagues where I had to pretend everything was perfect, about all the times I'd hidden in my room when he started yelling. Yes, I said, I'm ready. Aunt Sarah's house smelled like fresh paint and cinnamon rolls. The spare bedroom was small but cozy, with a patchwork quilt and yellow curtains that made the whole room feel sunny, despite the gray day outside. How are you holding up, sweetie? Aunt Sarah asked, setting a mug of hot chocolate on the nightstand. Her red hair was tied back in a messy bun, and she had flour on her cheek from the stress baking she'd been doing since picking me up yesterday. Better than I thought I'd be, I admitted. The medicine Officer Chen gave me helped with the headache. Aunt Sarah sat on the edge of the bed. Your mom lands in Phoenix in an hour. I'll pick her up from the airport. Did you tell her everything? As much as I could, she said carefully. She was shocked. She shouldn't be, I said, bitterness creeping into my voice. She's seen how he gets. She just always makes excuses for him. The doorbell rang, interrupting our conversation. Aunt Sarah glanced at her watch. That must be Officer Chen, she said. Are you up for talking to her again? I nodded, straightening my shoulders. Yeah, I want to get this over with. Officer Chen sat at Aunt Sarah's kitchen table, a folder spread out in front of her. She looked even more serious than yesterday. Martha, thank you for agreeing to meet again, she said. I have updates on your case. Did you arrest him? I asked bluntly. Yes, Officer Chen said. He was taken into custody this morning. The judge issued a temporary restraining order. He can't contact you or come near your school or this address. What happened when they arrested him? I couldn't help asking. Officer Chen hesitated. He was uncooperative, made some threats. Against me? My throat tightened. Against the officers, she clarified, which only made his situation worse. The DA's office has already recused themselves due to the conflict of interest. The case has been assigned to a prosecutor from the neighboring county. So what happens now? Aunt Sarah asked, setting coffee in front of Officer Chen. There's a hearing tomorrow morning, Officer Chen explained. Martha, you'll need to testify about what happened. Your father will be there. My stomach dropped. I have to see him? Yes, but he can't approach you. There will be security, and I'll be with you the entire time. My phone buzzed on the table. Unknown number. I answered it cautiously. Martha? It's Dad. His voice was tight, controlled, the way it always was right before he exploded. You need to drop these ridiculous charges. Do you have any idea what you've done to my career? To our family? I froze, my eyes meeting Officer Chen's. She immediately pulled out her own phone. This is all a misunderstanding, my father continued, his voice dropping to the dangerous whisper I knew too well. You tell them you made it up, that you fell, and we can put this behind us. If you don't... Officer Chen grabbed my phone, putting it on speaker. Mr. Sullivan, this is Officer Chen. You are violating a restraining order. This call is being recorded and will be reported to the judge. You stay out of this, my father snapped. This is between me and my daughter. No, it's not, I said, finding my voice. You hit me. You left me bleeding, and I'm not covering for you anymore. Martha, listen to me, he said, his tone shifting to the smooth, persuasive one he used in court. I'm sorry about what happened. I lost my temper. It won't happen again. Just tell them you exaggerated. Like it was the first time you lost your temper? I asked. What about when you threw the chair through the window? Or when you pushed Mom into the wall? Or all the times you made me feel worthless because I wasn't perfect? I'm your father, he hissed. Everything I've done was to make you stronger, to prepare you for the real world. The real world doesn't beat children, Aunt Sarah interjected, her face flushed with anger. Mr. Sullivan, Officer Chen said firmly, this call is now evidence of another crime. I suggest you hang up immediately and contact your attorney. The line went dead. He'll just keep coming after me, won't he? I asked, my hands shaking. Not if I have anything to say about it, Officer Chen replied. That call just made our case much stronger. All rise, the bailiff called as Judge Watkins entered the courtroom. My mother sat beside me, pale and silent. She'd barely spoken since returning from Phoenix, caught between decades of making excuses for my father and the undeniable evidence on my face. My father didn't look at me as the prosecutor. Miss Ramirez presented the photos of my injuries, the medical report, and the recording of his phone call. Martha, Miss Ramirez said when I took the stand, can you tell the court what happened on Monday night? I took a deep breath and told my story one more time. With each word, I felt something shift inside me, fear giving way to resolve. By afternoon, it was over. The restraining order was extended for a year. My father was charged with child abuse, witness intimidation, and violating the initial restraining order. He was released on bail but ordered to stay with his brother and surrender his passport. It's not over, Officer Chen warned as we left the courthouse. There will be a trial unless he pleads guilty. Are you prepared for that? I think so, I said, surprised to realize I meant it. 2 weeks later, Rita and I sat at our spot under the oak tree. Miss Torres says I should join her support group, I told Rita, for kids who've dealt with family trauma. Are you going to? Rita asked. I think so. Mom's found an apartment for us. She's filed for divorce. Good, Rita said firmly. How do you feel about all of it? I considered the question. Relieved, mostly. Scared sometimes. But mostly stronger? Is that weird to say? Not weird at all, Rita replied. You stood up to someone who hurt you. That takes serious courage. Miss Torres approached, waving. Martha, I was hoping to catch you. Got a minute? Sure, I said, making room on the bench. I wanted to give you this. She handed me a business card. She's a great therapist who specializes in trauma recovery. I thought you might want to talk to someone outside of school, too. Thanks, I said, tucking the card into my pocket. I'll think about it. Also, Miss Torres continued, remember that essay contest I mentioned? The one about overcoming obstacles? The deadline's been extended. I smiled for what felt like the first time in weeks. You think I should enter? I think you have an important story to tell, she said simply. When you're ready. Later that evening, I sat at the desk in Aunt Sarah's spare room, staring at a blank document on my laptop. My phone buzzed with a text from Rita. Support group tomorrow? I'll wait by your locker. I smiled and typed back, definitely. Thanks for not giving up on me. Then I turned back to my laptop and began to type. What happens when someone you trust betrays you? Do you stay silent, or do you find the courage to speak? I chose to speak. What would you do?